live, and with no one ahead of us in football terms. Not Pep, not Klopp, not Arteta. They do what they do, we do what we do. In terms of depth and knowledge, we're up there with all of them. I'm not saying I'm better than them, but I'm as good as them. We're better than them, let's face it. It's the Vocal Minority Podcast.
Raise your voice.
God, Tony's so long-winded.
I know, seriously. I guess maybe, he's just feeling chatty this week. I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm pumped up. I'm ready to fucking run through a wall for the last 4 games of the season.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
What?
Absolutely nothing.
Good.
Well, hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Vocal Minority Podcast, the podcast that's going to outlast all those other podcasts. That's right. I said it. Duncan, you'll be fine. On this week's show, we celebrate a new player. Yay, new players. Talk about a CanPL coach and his staying at the CanPL. What?
I know,
Discuss
right?
the upcoming Women's World Cup. Look ahead to this weekend's match versus the T-Terrorists and more. Now to this week's panel. The man from Little Malta. Say hello to Duncan Fletcher.
Hello. Some fucking Allardyce. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
It's so ridiculous.
At least they're going to go out with some kind of personality, I guess, rather than what has been happening with Javi, what's his name. But Jesus, this is not going to end well.
No,
anyway.
No. It's definitely like get your popcorn and your booze and just watch because.
Yeah.
Oh, but I feel bad for anyone I know that's like, honestly, that's their team. I'm so sorry this is happening to you.
This is weird. Yeah, I've mocked other teams before. Managerial appointments have been made fun of. It is only fair.
Spurs is on their third in a month, so hey, why not?
Yeah.
Also true.
Good times. He survived more than a day without the internet. It's Mark Hinkley.
Do you guys remember grass and like outside?
What's that?
Never heard of it.
So fucking weird.
Wait, you went outside?
So weird. Oh no, I looked outside. I wasn't.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, hold on now. Like, what is happening?
Whoa, calm down, guys. I only go outside to watch footy and to go pick up shirts. But otherwise, like, no, I just stared out a window. I
thought you were going to say to go pee. I was like, you do not have a bathroom at home, Mark. Do you not have indoor
his
plumbing?
bathroom's hooked up to the internet. It doesn't work.
It's a smart toilet. Not the best idea. I mean, it's awesome because every time I pee, it starts singing Baby Shark. But until like the last 36 hours, 48 hours, it's like, where's the song? And it's gross. It's
just not the same. It's just not the same.
Yeah, you miss auto flushing when you can't remember how to do it yourself manually because there's no handle. It's smart. Anyway, happy to be here. Trauma slowly eroding away from me. It's great.
Okay, good. Allegedly working. Tony won't be joining us this week.
Hooray! I mean, hooray!
Aww.
He knows what he did or didn't do.
Obviously, he didn't get those TPS reports done on time. So,
well, you should know where to put the staple. I mean,
he forgot the cover letter again.
Amateur.
I know. Anyway, as for me, I'm excited for yet another new team in Toronto in 2 years. Unless the way you guys move, and then there'll be like the third team. I don't know. There's gonna be another team in Toronto. I hope. Anyway, I'm excited. I am your host, Kristin, and now to this week's show. All right, first up is what's been happening, and we are going to talk about TFC versus the Pizza Rats because Triumph, a win.
Wow.
What?
I know.
Wow.
It was very confusing. A competent win. Like, they looked as though they knew what they were doing through much of the match. I would say the majority of the match. Huh. The new player that we were thought, he's going to help out, but it's been a while since he scored a goal. Scored a goal.
No.
That's right. Sapong scored.
Yeah.
All around.
Did you guys hear that it was his 4th consecutive debut goal for a club?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Consecutive debut goal. What the ever loving fuck? He should never play for a club more than 2-3 years. He would have he would have Pele numbers if he just signed 3-game contracts.
I missed that. Did Martin Bailey unveil this stat?
Okay, to be fair, I believe I heard that on the feed. That being said, it wouldn't be the first time I've watched a feed where a commentator did and didn't attribute Martin Bailey with such incredible statistics. So I'm going to naturally assume that Martin Bailey, statistician to the Soccer Stars, absolutely tracked the shit out of that. Well done, Martin. Congratulations. Again.
Yeah, I wonder, did Apple pay attention to Martin Bailey? I know TSN obviously did. We know that much. But sort of Apple, maybe you'd hope so.
I wish they would. Instead, maybe they could use some of his stuff instead of actually, I don't know, voicing their I quote unquote opinions or thoughts on the game. Because my gods, I've tried to not complain about the Apple people too much in terms of the broadcast itself, but wow, they are
literally the
homerist of the worst.
They're just
good lord.
They're just also not good.
No, exactly. They're not good, and they're homers.
I don't fully understand how or who got picked and why they got picked.
So bad.
If all the games were on the exact same day, pretty much, they've got to have probably about 15 different commentator and analyst crews.
There are 15 different competent commentator pairs in North America.
Where are they coming from? Where are they coming from? Presumably all those people are still employed at other places.
It's just painful.
I was genuinely surprised that Luke Wildman wasn't doing commentary for every game on Apple TV. For reals. Even he can tone down the homerism. I appreciate a good home commentating team.
Sure.
All up the ass of the
acknowledges
team
there's another team playing.
Yeah. And I love it. I respect the hell out of it. But my God, it's can we they're not even, not that I expect them to try, but effort does get noticed, and I can't wait to notice it because there isn't any, and it sucks. But anyway, well done to Sapong for the goal. Nice little man on the spot type thing. Side footed in, good. Perfectly, as my esteemed colleague Kristin would say, a perfectly cromulent goal.
Indeed.
I pay attention. See?
Thank you.
Nicely set up by Larea as well. He's didn't score this time, but that was very nice as well.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the goal was nice. The flow of a lot of the game was really nice. Insigne was lively and involved.
Judging by the highlights, which is all I watched, yes, agreed. He seemed to be all over it.
Matt Hedges, holy crap! What a difference his reinsertion into the lineup made defensively. It's because it's so night and day. It worries me a little bit. I'm happy that we have him. And that he has, stuff left in the tank and everything. But man, if he can't get injured for the rest of the season, because holy crap.
Let's not be so negative about this, Kristin. Let's just accept it and be like grateful. I'm honored that this is our guy right now. So please don't die or fuck up. Thank you. Yours truly.
But yeah, I like just overall, from back to front, like that was Coelho's I really like him. Mark Anthony Kaye did some decent things. Yeah, Richie, nice game from him. Just overall, like everybody, I was like, oh, okay, all right. So I was a bit disappointed that it took. Well, I'm always a little like, okay, yes, I know you want these guys to play, but you've got like some bench players that it's getting kind of late in the game. Bob, you're allowed to make subs.
Like he's gonna make a sandwich at that time of the game. Jeez.
Like people get hungry.
Yeah. I mean, who isn't hungry for a substitution? Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
The Subway substitution.
Never speak of them again.
But so when Diamande came on with like a minute left, I was like, yay, but you couldn't have given him like 5+ minutes, like just give 10 minutes, like give him something substantial. Like he's back from injury. Let him use his legs for longer than 30 seconds, just trotting slightly, anyway, it just sort of annoyed me, but
at least he got his win bonus. That's nice.
That's true.
Let him get a win bonus, an appearance bonus, whatever they get.
Whatever it is they're called, yes. Good point. But you know what? It was nice to see, like just again, like a competent, well-played match. Because that's the best game they've played all season. Absolutely. And that's a good sign. In that, like, if obviously they need to repeat that, but especially coming off the heels of the previous match, which was horrifying. That as a rebound performance, to stay undefeated at home, to win as opposed to getting another draw, like all of those things, to have Sapong slot in and he was great. Like I was honestly very impressed with his performance throughout the entire match. Like goal aside, even if he didn't score that goal, I would have lauded him for all the work he did during match. Like drawing defenders, working with the other attackers, just causing some really lovely chaos, but also just, again, when you see a good veteran player who knows their stuff, it's enjoyable to see because they know what they're doing. And that was what we got to see with him up front on the weekend. So yeah, lots of good things. I highly recommend this match.
Having a striker who can actually, having like a number 9 who can actually play as a number 9 helps, and who isn't kind of injured or kind of a crap shadow of his former self helps. That's nice. True. It's nice.
That was refreshing. Yeah. I don't, yeah, like I just, I have low expectations for Sapong, and that's not to say that I don't like, how can I put this? We're not getting Sapong 2017. We're getting Sapong 2023, right, which should be about the same as Sapong 2022. And if you keep track of which model of Sapong you have in your garage, you'll know that the 22 model doesn't run as smoothly as you remember it. You want the classic Sapong, not the newer models. That being said, I do expect it to get it to the grocery store from time to time, and got a loaf of bread. This is a terrible analogy and I'm tired. But my point is that
you know what, it's okay, Mark. You're power through.
Keep going. I expect power through. You can pull this together, Mark. You can make it work.
Thank you. I expect not much from him. And by not much, I mean if he can get to 5 goals on the season, what a bargain. Legitimately, what a bargain. After the season he had, that is above and beyond. And anybody who's got high expectations, again, needs to check the model number, because you might remember just enough of MLS to make yourself look silly. So 1 goal, 1 appearance. Holy shit. Like if he retires, build the statue, put it right next to Ozo's. What a strike rate. What an amazing, like, honestly, no, for real. I'm the fact that he basically did like kind of what it says on the tin. He's a forward. When the opportunity came, he turned his foot the correct way. It went past the goalkeeper. Like, thank you. This is the kind of relief that I need from my journeymen who show up, is to just do the minimum thing that we want every professional to do, and not sky the ball over the bar from 6 yards out.
Exactly.
Went in, kept it low, composed, fantastic. Thank you. I'm beyond thrilled for CJ right now.
Yeah, agreed. Hopefully we get to see Mabika in an upcoming game, maybe a Voyageurs Cup game. I don't know. Which we're going to talk about next week. Forget I mentioned it. I said nothing. Anyway, still got players that are injured. Some of them will hopefully be, well, you hope they're all back from injury. You don't want players to be injured, but it's interesting. I'll be curious to see, and we'll talk about, obviously we're going to talk about this weekend's match later on in the show, but it'll be interesting to see if all of the players that are still out injured remain out injured, if we can get a repeat performance. And then you start to ask questions about your injured players, which we always do, but Toronto FC in their infinite wisdom never thinks, we're playing better without these guys. Maybe they should sit on the bench. That never happens. But we'll see.
Kristin hates Oso. There we go. That's what it's come down to. You just want to keep a story on bench.
I'm talking about Oso, and you know it.
Duncan, I'm embarrassed for us. I didn't know.
Oh,
I really didn't think that this would reveal itself in such a manner. I mean, I expected this to be fair, Kristin, I expected this from Tony, not you. Okay.
Oh, Jesus. Someone has to speak for Tony. He's not here. All right, let's move on to the CanPL. Just a little CanPL recap, because there was a couple. Well, there's 4 games, because there's 4 games every weekend for CanPL. But just a couple of things sort of note over the weekend. One, Winnipeg streaking out to the early lead again in the standings. We all know it won't last, though. Sorry, Valor fans. But good for them.
Unsustainable.
Good for them. It's nice to see. It's nice to see someone different at the top of the standings for now. It's kind of exciting.
Yeah, patronizing pats on the head all around. Like, really?
Right? Like, come on.
You're doing so
You're
good.
doing so well. Oh, look at you.
Oh, no,
You guys.
precious.
Oh.
Precious is, I think, the word I'm looking for.
Honestly, we're so proud of you. So proud. Although I do hope that this helps with their battle with the front office right now. So I don't mind. Honestly, in that sense, I'm like, yeah, keep going. The YU guys get their first win of the season on the strength of, and I hope everybody saw this, even if you weren't watching the game. I hope you saw it, on Twitter, on socials, you were watching the highlights, but the Moba Bully free kick, that was pretty.
Oh, that was spectacular. My favorite part of it had to be Nigel Reed. That it it was just, usually that's the kiss of death. Like, he's just like, here's Moba Bully, one of the premier free kick takers from this distance in the Canadian Premier League. And it's like, oh yeah, that's going way the fuck over.
That's skying out of the stadium. Thanks, Nigel.
That is making its own subway path north into York region proper. And no, he curled that beautifully. And like, you know what? This whole moment is deserved. Nigel Reed deserves this moment. Moba Bully deserves this moment. York United deserves. Like, I was it was just nice. It was so nice.
It was
for everything.
lovely.
It was just fabulous, world-class caliber stuff all around.
I watched that I was watching the match, but I rewatched that like a few times just because I was like, this is very nice.
I've got to say as well, that was a pretty good Nigel Reid impression, Mark. If you hadn't said Nigel Reid and you were to ask me, what commentator am I impersonating right now? I would have guessed Nigel Reid.
Thanks.
It's just more the cadence of like the sentences, like half a sentence at a time.
Yes.
You nailed that part of it.
And it's like he's almost trying to sing it a little bit, but he's not singing it. And there it goes.
Exactly.
I genuinely do appreciate a Nigel Reid cadence. I really do. I like his style. He's like, nothing against a lot of the other play-by-play guys, but Nigel Reid it's a bit like Vic Rauter going in the correct direction. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a blanket. It's a real comforting blanket. Like,
and I admit, I forgot that he was doing CampPL matches and then that game, I was like, oh right, it's Nigel. Like I was so happy. Just like, just settle in, enjoy this, it's lovely.
Semi-related. So, and I completely forgot all about this until now, when I think it was the V Cup, where I managed to catch the Forge game online.
Right.
And it was Alf Duplessis who was doing the play-by-play, and his voice though, when somebody's got like a cold and their voice is just like, it's a couple registers higher than it should be. Cause I enjoy Alf's play-by-play. He needs a color guy, but I do enjoy his play-by-play. And so him by himself, like, cause he's got a vocal range, but because he couldn't hit the bass parts, it was just like, I almost tweeted, I'm like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, the last thing I want to do is like, I don't want to find out, like, this is the way we find out he's got something really, really awful. I like, no, Mark, just put the Twitter down. Don't ask. Shut up. And knows I'm doing on this podcast a week and a half later. So Alf, Mr. Duplessis. I don't know. We're not tight anymore. But anyway, he's also a good commentator, but the voice thing was just like, I need to go and list, like, keep an eye out on all the play-by-play game, like all the other CampPL games, to see if his voice comes back down, so I know he's okay. And this has been concern for commentators on Focal Minority Podcast.
And then sort of in what was the marquee match of the weekend, which was Aquaman hosting the Handies, which I have to say, so I'm in a prediction league with a bunch of mostly most of the people that are Brits. I've been in this thing for years, and we predict EPL matches, but then matches around the world. We do 4 matches a week. And because some of us, we like to do from countries, so we do CampPL matches as well. We do one of those, we do some MLS matches, all sorts of stuff, right? And so the person who runs it was asking me like, what was a good match to pick? And I was like, oh, definitely do the Aquaman and the Handies.
And when you said that, they went, who the fuck are the Aquaman?
Well, exactly. So like this guy's used to my throwing random nicknames at him. Like they think the T-Terrorist is just one of the funniest things ever. That's always a favorite. That one lives forever. But he was like, Aquaman. Oh, hilarious. Okay, get that. Yeah. Pacific. And he's like, what's the other one? And I was like, well, because we're 5, basically, we're just children. I said, look at their logo. And 5 minutes later, I got a message that was just like snicker. Lots of laughter. So
for some reason, I just thought of, and I'm 99% certain Duncan knows exactly what I'm talking about. So the question is, Kristin, did you ever head to your library and look through the Rothmans yearbooks?
No.
Okay. Duncan, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I do, yes.
Okay. So basically, this is where I kind of got my education in the footballs of England. Okay. I would go and get these giant books. They were always referenced. You can never take them out. And I would go through like all 90 some odd clubs or 88 clubs, whatever it was back in 1991 or whatever it was. And 92. I was fascinated by like the club nicknames, and like it was all super official. It was like black and white photo of the team, that what their form was for the last year, the player stats. Like it was a stat book, but it was like 1.5 times the thickness of a bathroom reader. These were solid books.
I'm sad I don't know about this.
Yeah, so they're obviously not called Rothman's yearbooks anymore. I think somebody else picked it up. It might have been like one of the magazines. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm pretty sure they still exist, but they were huge. And I would always go through it and just looking at like the nickname, like the Cherries, the Hatters, like these. My feeble North American mind was just off to the races with how do you fucking come up with a name called Spirites? You know, like I didn't know nothing about nothing. Okay. So this is what I'm thinking now. What if, and I mean, if Martin Bailey, I know I hope you're sitting down because you might be really into this. This is one of the dumbest ideas I've ever had. What if we made a North American version of this book, but we changed all the club nicknames to the stupid names we've come up with?
Oh, yeah.
So people are looking through. It's like, oh, New England Revolution, the Tea Terrorists. Like, oh my God, this is amazing. Looks super official, super like educational stats. Forge FC, the Handies. Like, come on. Okay. This joke also has a very, very, very narrow and limited audience. But if anybody's ever read this book, I'm sure they're chuckling a little at the idea of flipping the page and seeing Pony Boys as a fucking team nickname. Anyway,
obviously, go with all the alternate logos that sort of you and or Tony designed over at the Yorkies and what have you for all the various different MLS teams. Get that in there as well, right? Yeah.
I think that should happen. Anyway, I know. I just always every once in a while it rattles around in my brain. Is somebody listening to this for the first time? And when do they like, is it when we mention the Handies versus the Pony Boys or the Aquaman? Like at what point they go, I don't even know what fucking league this is anymore. They just have no idea. I just always wonder if there's one person and when did they tune out? Like, did they just get offended at the Space Willies? Like just anyway.
This is using up valuable internet.
I know. It's such a finite resource in my neighborhood.
Yes.
Gentlemen, I was out. We had no internet from like Tuesday morning until about 3 or 4 hours ago, time of recording, Wednesday evening. So like, I'm like readjusting to society. So I'm more rambly and I'm also exhausted. So I'm sorry in advance. Thank you for your patience and patronage.
Anyway, so the match, the Campiel match between the Aquaman and the Andes on the weekend, which was a big deal match, right? You know, they've played each other a bunch of times and, you know, there's a bit of a rivalry going, not quite like Hamilton and Calgary, but this one's starting. It was a very enjoyable match to watch. You know, unless you're a Pacific fan.
As I said in a chat group, Hamilton had a very comprehensive 35 minutes of the match.
They really did. It was really, really annoying.
Like the first 35 minutes, they looked like, oh my God, they're going to absolutely steamroll them. And then for some reason, it was before the end of the first half. They put the car in neutral. They didn't even park the bus. They just put the whole thing in neutral somewhere in the pitch.
Yeah. And
then it was just Pacific for the next 60 minutes. It was incredible. And I don't know how it ended up 1-0.
Fucking goal. Oh my God. It was crazy.
And it wasn't even like there was like close moments. It wasn't like Henry made like a ton of great saves. He made like a couple saves, but for the most part, it was just like somehow they didn't know how to solve this very stationary and static fucking club. And I'm like, wow, they're going to get all 3 points. And this is unfair to everybody. It just was. So if you watched it and you enjoyed it, hooray. if you're a Pacific supporter and saw that. A little Schadenfreude, but also, yeah, I would be mad. I'd be quite mad too.
It was so frustrating. It was so frustrating. And then of course, and this will dovetail nicely into the next thing we're going to talk about, Campion related. Everyone's going on and on and on about Coach Bobby and his masterclass and tactics, and just like, shut up. So speaking of Coach Beard, the Campiel Coach Beard was not as awesome as the other one. Sorry, I'm bitter.
I hope it doesn't stick. I really don't. Right, he's not as funny, or I mean, he's twice the tactician, half the comedian. That Coach
there we
Beard
go. There we go. So Coach Bobby, he's back for 4 years apparently, and it was a bit of a surprise, actually. I was expecting a contract extension just because, he didn't go anywhere else in the off season. But 4 years, like, that's substantial.
For the Campiel, that's a lifetime.
Like, it's like, are you sure the league will still be around? Like, what's going on here?
Oh, snap. Don't.
I know I shouldn't have done that. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
How? Why? Don't.
I'm on cold medication. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
You're on a roll. You got rid of Edmonton. Now you're going to do the other 8 in?
Yeah, now just get rid of the whole league. Jesus. Yeah. Wow.
That's it. Just get the whole league. That's right. It was a surprise. Like, it's not surprising that they wanted to resign him because, he is whatever coach of the year trophies or no. He's obviously one of the better coaches in the league. If
no,
not
Kristin would be the answer to that.
There's no individual trophies for him. I can't wait to find out who he finishes second to this year. It's going to be amazing.
That new guy in Halifax who gets Halifax to 5th place.
Oh,
what
yeah.
That is.
Totally coach of the year. Come on.
I'm as much like as I want Bobby Smirniotis to be Susan Lucci'd forever.
Ooh, yeah.
Just never wins it, but always nominated. Just never. He could have a perfect season, and some guy took, I don't know, Lethbridge is like on the bottom of the table to 13th, and got a B Cup to the semifinals. And it's like, I mean, you went undefeated, Bobby, but Paul Stalteri, he got Lethbridge to 13th. I mean, come on. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a good long-running gag. Sports needs long-running gags.
Yeah. It really does. We need it. Yes. So 4 years and an expanded. He's got a new title. He gets to do more stuff. His role has been expanded. He now is the sporting director. Ooh. Oh. So he was already coach and technical director, but somehow not. I don't know. So his brother.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Does this mean that he's in charge of the Tiger Cats now as well? Is that what it means?
Yeah. Part of it is he's now coach of the special teams.
Oh,
so he gets to do kickoffs and punt returns. I expect them to have like 30 touchdowns from just punt returns because Bobby's a fucking legend. So why not?
Yeah.
But he won't win coach of the year in the CFL either.
No. Good God, no. Yeah, everything kick related he can do in the for the
100%.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny that he only got. This is a bad summary, but he only got the job because his brother left it. Like I love the idea. Like his brother took off. It's like you can do your brother's job, right? He's like, have you met him? Yeah. Like I can just hear shit talking, like family shit talking behind the scenes for this acquisition or this part of the job description to expand. But this is good. This jokes aside, this is very good for Forge and not very good for the rest of the league.
You fuckers.
Anyway, well, but this it doesn't. Although it was interesting to see people being like, "Oh man, he signed a new contract. Now he can't take over TFC when Bob Bradley gets fired at the end of this season," which is never going to happen. But whatever. And I don't mean that as a
I don't
knock on either men.
I honestly I can't see Smiriotis going to MLS. Like, and the reason is because this Forge is built completely in his own image. Like, if he's going to leave Forge, he's going to another CanPL team, and he's going to bring the team with him eventually. Like, there's not that many Sigma players who play in MLS. He cannot fill them all with Sigma players. Like, that's what I mean. And that's no disrespect, but the man's got a system, and
yeah, but Sigma is now under the umbrella. It's always going to be Sigma players. Like, what was it? Hamilton has 8 teams under their control now, youth teams or whatever. Sigma is theirs.
Mwahaha, steepling fingertips.
I saw that and I just was like, of course, Sigma is their first partner club, baby club, affiliate club, whatever. Like, it's Sigma forever. There's got to be a song. There's probably a hand sign or something, secret handshake. Do they have rings? It's like the fucking Illuminati. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you do the W West Side and you go sideways, it kind of looks like a Sigma.
It kind of looks like a Sigma. You're right. It looks
like a Sigma. I'm not up in my Greek letter hand gestures, but I'm sure. And there's if you look at the Sigma badge, there's it's Sigma cubed. There's a 3 in the corner. So do you do the Sigma and then with the other hand go behind it and put up 3 fingers? They're Sigma motherfuckers. I'm like, oh shit. Anyway.
It's Sigma, 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 like it's a frat.
Oh my God. Please let it be a frat. This whole thing's been a frat. Oh my God. Duncan. This is amazing. They just call every other team nerds or something. Just amazing.
So yeah. Coach Beard is back.
We're gonna come around back to this later, Dunk. When Tony's around, because this is insane. I love it.
There you go.
Everyone put a pin in that for next week. We'll add that. Yeah.
I enjoy some good Greek jokes.
Oh, that's on the record.
Oh no! Why did I just willingly and openly, without even thinking about it, just be like, yeah, sure, add that to next week's show? Fuck. What have I done? Let's move on to what we're talking about. We're always talking about lots of things. But something we were going to talk about last week, and we sort of ran out of time for, we're talking a little bit about the not the upcoming Women's World Cup, but the next, sort of the upcoming one, but also the next one. I know I'm being complicated. I apologize. So a couple weeks ago, there was a bit of an uproar about the fact that there was a joint bid for the next Women's World Cup that was done by the United States and Mexico. Canada, suspiciously absent. Ooh. And everyone was like, oh, what's going on? CSA is so incompetent. They can't even get in on this bid for 2027. And everyone was there was a lot of people really upset about this. I was not one of them. I mean, for one thing, I don't know. Do you want your federation that's kind of in turmoil right now? They've got another World Cup to deal with, the year before that one, and they're barely hanging on by their fingernails right now. Do you really want them involved in another World Cup? And especially we had one here not that long ago. It was great. Super fun. We all went to matches. We had a great time.
Did we share that with Mexico? All the states?
Fuck them.
No. It's all good. And hey, this way, there's plenty of stadiums in the States and Mexico that have grass. So they'll be able to have the whole thing on grass this time. That'll be nice.
Yes, that's true. So anyway, so there was a lot of back and forthing about this, and you see it from fans and from some players too. And I get it. You always want to be able to, it's nice to be able to play in your own backyard and so on and so forth. But personally, I think they're right to not have done this. And it wasn't that I don't think there's been a question that they were just I don't know if they were asked and they were like, nah, guys, we got our own shit to deal with right now, or if they weren't. Mexico has never hosted a Women's World Cup. So let's, like the CSA put out for them a pretty thoughtful statement. And if you haven't read it, go find it. It's on the CSA website. Well, we'll post it in the show notes. But, we hope they're successful. We support them completely. We hosted it 8 years ago. We had, again, it was very successful, and, we raised the bar for it, and it'd be great to have it back in North America on CONCACAF soil, all those things. And, we're looking forward to hosting the Men's World Cup. And that's basically it. They're just like, you know what? All good. We're good, kind of thing. So what I want to know, like I said, I think they made the right decision, again, even if they were asked or not. I think it was wise to not be involved in this. And I don't think it's a big deal that they're not, personally. I don't think you have to bid for everything all the time. I think they've got a Men's World Cup that they're planning for. They've got a federation that's tottering and teetering right now. Potential new league coming. Like, there's all sorts of other things for them to focus on, as opposed to another World Cup later on top of it. If all those other things weren't happening, if they weren't already hosting the Men's World Cup, and all this other shit wasn't happening, I'd be like, yeah, absolutely, you should be like trying to get your oar into this and help host, like, for sure. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I definitely don't think it was necessary for Ken to be a part of this. Most of it has to do with, it's not even about, well, we're hosting a Men's World Cup and we've got too much to deal with or whatever. No, it's not even about that. The tournament is, how big's the Australia one? 16 teams?
No, it's full on.
Or is it 24?
It's 24 now, isn't it? Or did they go 32?
They might have gone 32. It's an expanded World Cup.
No,
it's like,
okay. Hang on. I'm sorry. 23. All right. I now need to know this because
32.
It is 32.
Yeah, that's from 6 confederations.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
my
it's
argument
awesome. Super exciting.
That's amazing. My argument actually was that this was under the assumption it was a smaller tournament, that they didn't need to spread it over such a massive geography. I know that New Zealand and Australia are also a massive, distance apart, really, but it's also New Zealand where they probably couldn't feasibly host a tournament of that scope on its own, and Australia can be there to help. Anyway, now that I know it's 32 teams, I'm kind of teetering a little more like maybe we could have gotten into this, but this isn't a case of like infrastructure, like more stadiums per capita. Mexico doesn't even need to be a part of this. Hell, pick 20 states. They don't need to be a part of it either. Like you could probably host this entire 32 team tournament in like California or Texas alone. They have the facilities. Sure. So like, to me, I'm just looking at it from like how spread out does this need to be spread out geographically? I mean, I still kind of think that the World Cup that we're a part of is also insane too, but there's 48 teams in it. And anyway, we've already been there, and we'll probably go over it again in the next 3 years. But yeah, I don't feel like, just because we're doing this one thing, we have to do everything together. It's like, no, you guys go on a date. We're just going to stay home and play Xbox. It's fine. We don't have to hang out all the time. Third wheel and all that. Basically what I'm saying is this is high school all over again. I don't like it. No, but yeah, I don't feel like everything needs to be a joint. Like whenever I think of the World Cups that are joint ventures between countries, it's because either the countries are too small to host it by themselves, and they pair up with an equally small country to combine to form this uniform tournament specter party thing, where it's not working.
Yes, you're good. You're good.
Japan, Korea was an outlier, but because that was a political thing that happened, which is why they both hosted it rather than just one or the other, because it could have been one or the other. Yeah. So like, this is I don't feel like Canada is missing out on anything. I really don't. And I just think it's absurd that 2 countries host a World Cup. I think it's really absurd when 3 do it. Unless it's Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. I think that would be pretty sweet because they're tiny.
Ooh.
Couldn't fucking do it on their own. Anyway. Yeah, that's my Duncan.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agreed with both of it. I don't take this as some kind of slight, really. It's like, there's been multiple tournaments held in just the States or just Mexico or, those 2, or there was just Canada for the Women's World Cup. It's like, we don't have to be involved in everyone. Why? Okay, these 2 are. That's nice. I don't see it as a big sort of slight. It's not like if this had been something where there'd been a big bidding contest, say, okay, who's going to win it? And it had been, all right, it's going to be all 3. It's going to be that entire North American thing, all 3 countries, hooray. And then all of a sudden, yeah, actually, fuck you. We're just going to do this on our own. You don't get to do it anymore. That would be, a bit of an insult, a bit of a what the fuck's going on. But this, it's fine. I don't get the outrage at all. And it's probably for the best, really, for the entire tournament. 2026 World Cup, the shittiest stadiums. Probably how many Canadian cities are hosting? Is it just 2, 3? But either
just
way,
2.
Just 2. The bottom 2 will be the Canadian ones as far as stadiums go. So does Canada need to be involved? No, we dragged the whole thing down.
Yeah. But who knows? We might get to go to a World Cup game on our own backyard, guys. So who knows? And I say might, and I laugh heartily because it's going to be so hard to get tickets. Anyway.
True. But surely the Voyageurs have it in with FIFA, no?
Natch.
I wish it worked that way.
That's why I've already re-upped for Voyageurs Platinum.
Oh, yeah.
Mark, I told you about that in confidence.
It was on the website. You pointed me to a website in confidence. Google can find it.
But if people don't know to Google it.
Well, they don't know how to Google. I've seen some people literally type things out on Twitter like Google can answer. Okay. And if they're listening, hopefully you don't know who you are because it's really funny and it's also true.
Oh my God, this is so niche.
But anyway,
but some people know. Hi.
Some people know. Anyway, those of you who know are already laughing. Anyway, my point is good luck finding it. I mean, because you got to put in the effort. So. I don't know if we're going to get into this too deeply, only because I've only sort of I just glanced at this a little bit, but I thought it was interesting that FIFA, Infantino and friends are threatening. Oh, there's going to be blackouts for the Women's World Cup matches in Europe.
Because
they're not paying enough. They're not offering enough for the rights to show the games unless broadcasters up their bids. So low compared to the men's tournament that it's a slap in the face. And of the players and all women worldwide. Now, if this was somebody else saying this from a different organization, or almost, I would be like, oh, you know what, Gianni, you're correct. That is correct. Your organization has fought so hard and long for the rights of women footballers for years. You have tried to, fuck off.
If the women were prepared to wear shorter shorts, they get better TV.
Duncan, full disclosure. Until Kristin said fuck off at the end, I wasn't sure if this was real or parody. I'm really tired right now, and I'm like, fuck, this could go either way. Thank you for clarifying that, Kristin, with your punctuation.
You're welcome.
Duncan, thank you for your support as always.
I'm sorry that you were remotely concerned, and you really are tired if you thought that was going any other way.
Like, this is a twist. I mean, this has already been a full episode, and what's one more twist? Kristin is pro Infantino. When the fuck did that happen?
Today, I feel like no.
Anyway,
it's so hypocritical and it's laughable. And one of the things he said something about like a moral is our moral and legal obligation not to undersell the FIFA Women's World Cup. And again, like how they say these things with straight faces and just like using their mouths and putting these words out into the universe based on who they give World Cups to for the men. Let's talk about moral obligations. And I'm not just talking about Qatar. I'm talking about the one that's coming up. I'm talking about ones before that. Like, come on now. Shut up. Don't use that word. Just stop. This is on you guys.
Mm-hmm.
This is amazing. It really is
also
spectacular.
I mean, all of these countries that are not paying enough for the rights and everything, I presume most of these countries have more than one media, like TV company out there.
Probably.
I mean, so it's like in Britain, for example, I don't know if that's one of the countries, but the BBC isn't paying enough. All right, we'll go to ITV or Channel 4 or Sky or whoever the fuck.
Oh, no, Duncan.
Every country out there has multiple people who would be able to bid. This is the free market and capitalism and all that sort of thing, is it not?
So the good news for British fans is that FIFA sources are privately conceding that a UK television deal is not a million miles away, and that Infantino's fire is directed more at the other major European nations, which are Spain, Italy, Germany, and France. All five of these countries have robust women's leagues.
I'm sure they have multiple TV companies who might be interested in paying for the rights.
So this is just... Anyway, it is on the one hand, I actually don't think, I think Italy, I would believe. On the one hand, it is true. Sure. Yes. Pay for the right to do this. Like don't undersell the women's game. That's, an ongoing issue, decades and decades, blah, 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 blah. But to have it coming from him and from FIFA as an organization is just laughable and ridiculous, and they should shut up. Or at least concede that their moral high ground does not exist, which they will never do. But Jesus Christ. So
is
annoying.
FIFA giving prize money for this particular World Cup equal to the prize money for the Men's World Cup? Are they doing that, FIFA? Do you have a moral obligation not to do that, not to slap the women in the face by giving them lower amounts of prize money? You don't.
You're adorable.
That is, calm down. Jeez. Did you not hear about how all these networks are refusing to pay top dollar for a tournament that the payout is fraction of what the men's is? Can you, do you even economics, Dunk? Honestly.
Not often, no.
Okay. I had to ask, I mean, this is, whenever I hear about like these rights things, it's like, oh no, they're not, if they don't cede to it, we're going to have a blackout. Yeah. Cause I guess the internet doesn't work in the world that they like. FIFA's
and it's also, you're not going to line our coffers with enough of your gold. Like what the hell, dudes,
Yeah. Like they will take the best offer on the table. They will always take the best offer on the table. Even if it's not a great offer, they'll take the best one. Because that's what they are. They're just like, I love the fact that they're trying to create some kind of a extortionist bidding war, but like, who are they holding them against? Like, oh no, Italy's not paying enough. I guess we'll go to Italy too and see if they want to buy the rights. Like, this doesn't work. It doesn't work like this at all. So, good luck to FIFA, and I hope the block of European nations who are giving them the giant middle finger stretch and keep that finger going strong, because fuck you, Infantino, honestly.
And we're just all right. Well, we're not going to show the game to anybody. Then that's not a slap in the face to the all the players and everybody.
Exactly.
So,
oh well, fuck you. Then we just won't show it. Oh,
yes.
Okay, that helps.
That's going to grow the game. Sure. Yes. It seems like there's like a very noticeable surge in popularity of the women's game right now. Should there be more money coming in from TV? Possibly, but that's not really how capitalism works, is it? So you're just going to threaten, oh yeah, well, we're just not going to show it at all. Great idea. But anyway, empty words. It's not going to happen, is it?
No. Like the upper, no. It's just
Yes.
it is. It's just it is just asshole posturing is what it is.
Yes, and hilarious that they're presenting themselves as the great defenders and promoters of the women's game.
Exactly.
Yes.
Come on now. Something that we're not going to talk about this week, we'll talk about it next week, because we could do a whole show on it probably, and it kind of anyway, we're not prepared to talk about, but this sort of dovetails with a little bit of what we've previously been talking about here, and stuff we've been talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks. The CSA elections are this weekend, apparently. So stuff's going down. There's, alleged backdoor dealings and two camps and letters being written by senior teams. And if you don't already know about how the votes get broken down, whoa, dude, we're going to talk about that next week. Holy crap. The players have almost no say. It's interesting. But yeah, so just we'll get into the results and the whole thing next week. But something that sort of alluded to earlier in the show that's kind of exciting about in Canadian soccer, potentially. We all know about the hopeful, and this is also related to the CSA elections, because the sanctioning of the hopeful new women's league is something that's apparently being voted on this weekend. Yeah, so everybody cross your fingers, and I don't know. So when that hopefully happens, it should happen, a new team has been announced. A new team in Toronto.
Ooh.
I know. Called AFC Toronto City. It's a little stumbly, but it says Toronto.
A little doesn't
quite sing, but we can just call it AFC Toronto. AFCTO. AFCTO. There we go.
Or just Toronto City, or City, or just Toronto.
Just Toronto, which is probably what will happen. So outside of the Whitecaps and the Foothills, this is the third club that's been announced. It's been led by a trio of women. One of who is the current president of the North Toronto Soccer Club. Looks like they've actually sort of maybe pillaged some soccer knowledge and some people from North Toronto Soccer Club. They're not affiliated. They're just taking some of their people.
Where did this North Toronto, where exactly is it? Because I can't help but get the feeling that this is probably where this team's going to end up, isn't it? And where exactly north is it?
Yeah, it might be in Vaughan.
It might be in Vaughan. Okay.
Yeah, they haven't said actually where they're going to play, and like haven't landed on a thing. And again, it's all up in the air, like all the other teams are. But it's just exciting to see one of the announced cities be Toronto, and like have people that are involved, and they have an ownership group in place that is willing, to pony up the money for the franchise fee. They're looking into stadium sites, deals, whatever. So that sort of thing is very exciting. Hopefully, I'm very hopeful that they announce a team in Quebec. That's my hope. Because that would be hilarious if they announced a team in Quebec before the CanPL did.
So funny.
Make it happen, Diana. Make it happen.
Duncan, to answer your question, so according to Google, their actual like headquarters is at Eglinton and Avenue Road.
Oh,
Eglinton.
Well then.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow. Proper Toronto, that.
And
That's within proper Toronto.
Yeah, Midtown Toronto. Is that Midtown?
Yeah.
We call it Midtown. Yeah.
Sure.
So
Eglinton. Okay. Yeah.
So for those of you who aren't Toronto centric, who listen to the show, welcome. This is North Toronto in the sense that if where the CN Tower would be South Toronto, which is really the center, but it's the southern part of the city technically. This would be in the opposite direction. It's right up Yonge Street, but not too far up Yonge Street. Still within the city proper. So for a little bit of context, it's not walkable. You'd have to ride the subway, but it would be one ride.
It depends where you're walking from.
This was more for the people who think that Toronto is CN Tower, Skydome.
Fair. Yes.
You could walk it.
That would be a long walk from there.
Yeah, don't.
That would be quite the enthusiastic and whatever march to the match to go from the CN Tower
yes,
to
indeed.
That would be amazing because you'd probably have to start that march at about 11 to make the 4:00 kickoff. It's not that far, but it's still funny to think it might be.
But you'll get your steps in and then some.
Yes. Oh, you'll totes get the steps for sure.
Okay, that's not as far north as I was expecting. So but yeah, we'll see. I mean,
yeah,
I'm kind of happy that apparently MLSE does not seem to be involved with that. Mm-hmm. Fine by me.
Yeah.
The only good thing MLSE's got going for them is, BMO Field's a decent location. So presumably they're not going to be playing there. So then, yeah, right. Where is the main question as far as for enthusiasm for, this is something close and easy to get to. But yeah, theoretically, it's a very good thing if it all comes through.
Indeed.
Yes, this is good.
One last thing before we turn our attention to things that are coming up. The CCL, which admittedly we haven't really talked about much this year. And while it is one of our favorite competitions, it loses a bit of its luster when your team is not involved, which Toronto is most definitely not. And it's the one semifinal was last night, another semifinal is tonight, day of recording, and the two-legged final gets played at the end of the month. So yeah, that happened fast. But another year, another MLS side in the final. This year's entrant, Zombie Chivas, who trounced the Union last night. It was not pretty. Jim Curtin, they've been doing well in the tournament. He'd been sacrificing MLS for this, and I don't know. I don't know if everything just sort of. They were still celebrating destroying Toronto the other weekend. That's what you get. I don't know, but it did not go well. They did not look good. 3-0 loss. It was ugly. So they will be taking on either Leon or Tigres, who play tonight.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. So two-leg final.
Which will be yesterday by the time this goes out, but
indeed. Two-leg final, May 31st and June 4th.
Is there a Mexican team named after the Liga? Like Ligres?
That would be great.
I think that Should we start this team? Should we move to Mexico and start league race? I feel like we should.
You know,
I feel like we should buy both teams and force the merger. So when we survive having our houses and our new houses and our new houses burnt to the ground, league race. This is fantastic. This is
Duncan's more fluent in Spanish than I am. But if you put me in a Spanish location long enough, my Spanish comes back. So Duncan and I can be like, we can translate and be involved in that way. And then, Mark, you can design the kits and Tony can do the PR. Sorted.
Holy shit, Sweet. This is a plan.
Yeah. Look how well that came together.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, everyone get your fucking taxes done, and we're going to pool our tax returns.
And let's go to Mexico and announce this. Launching in 2025, league race. It's happening. We've got a plan. Absolutely.
Love it.
Think Sam Allardyce will be available by then?
For the last 4 matches of the season? Absolutely.
He probably
or maybe
will
the
be.
first 4.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyway, so when we'll talk about the final when the final is upon us. But yeah, Zombie Chivas in the final. Intriguing.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. All right, what's coming up? Well, we mentioned the T-Terrorists earlier, and guess who's coming to town? That's right. Bruce Arena. Wah, wah.
No. I can't do.
I know. This is why we need Tony. There
it is. That's half of it right there.
Nice. New England currently the top team in MLS. Yay.
I'm sorry. Really? What?
Yes, I know. That's what I had to look at it. I stared at that table for like 5 minutes. I'm like, surely there's a mistake here somewhere. This can't be. That is right. Oh, okay. That's
the second terrible. Most shocking news I've heard on this podcast since I discovered there are 32 teams in the Women's World Cup. Holy crap.
I feel like New England were like really good a couple of years ago, then shot the bed. Now they're good again?
Now they're good again.
Are New England the new DC United?
Maybe.
Go, hey, we're good. We're crap.
Like, that could very well be because, they, Now, Cincinnati's nipping on their heels. It's a goal differential thing, but, they score more and they defend better than Cincinnati. So, that's just what happens. And they have an annoyingly good away record. They're 2-1-1. It's obnoxious. So they're the top team in MLS right now, and they're coming to Toronto this weekend to take on
Coronation Day. We get to play the fucking T-Terrorists, the ultimate royal, rebellious, what have you, on fucking Coronation Day of all days.
Because I don't give a flying fuck about the coronation. That's why. Excellent.
No, me neither. But
that's hilarious.
They have to come to Canada. There weren't some American teams they could play. They have to come and shit on the parade for Canada's noble new king.
Our new official head of state or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too funny. Here's a fun fact.
Go on.
Toronto has lost only 1 of its last 9 matches against New England. 4 wins, 4 draws, and then obviously 1 loss.
Okay, so such good work. Jesus.
That lone win was almost 2 years ago.
So we're building to a 4-4-2. I take it over.
Hey,
you go with a 5-4-1, a 4-5-1. There's a lot of formations we could go with here, but 4-4-2. Let's face it.
That's probably what it is. Yes. But yeah, that's rather intriguing. But Toronto is undefeated at home right now, which is lovely. Obviously coming off a nice, morale boosting as we mentioned earlier, very competent, very well played win on this past weekend. And they got a little bit of a homestand right now, right? So everybody's like home, except for Bernie, like jetted off to New York for a couple days just because he can. So I guess enjoy. And then Victor Vasquez is in like Barcelona having his injury looked at.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's familiar. That's never happened here, but that's never happened before. No. He's played
Does
what,
he have
like
a
twice?
Yeah. Does he have a favorite doctor that can be hanging around with the team as a whole to be there for him?
What? Yeah, maybe that could help. I don't know, man.
Mm.
So coming up on this weekend, right? So we've still got Victor Vasquez, whatever, is back. Osorio and Michael Bradley were out on the weekend. I don't think either of them were spotted at training today. Gutierrez has yet to play for Toronto with his non-COVID illness. Although I did see something now on FOTMob the other day for the weekend's match. It actually had him listed with like a proper injury, not an illness. And now I can't remember. I wonder if it's still there.
Was it a bronchial injury?
It was not a bronchial injury.
Sorry, continue then.
I've got to ask the question. Who's this Gutierrez then? Who's he? When did he show up? What?
He's the defender that they picked up from the Whitecaps. Like preseason or right at the beginning of the season.
I'm glad this is not a video podcast because I would look completely confused right now on camera. It comes out in my voice.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I forgot all about that.
They picked him up in March.
Sure. Anyway,
his face is still on my face.
Yeah.
I believe you. Let's put it this way.
That's good. I appreciate that you believe me.
100%. Not that not for those of you who are new to the show, Kristin does not lie often, but this one sounds legit. So
it is legit.
Thank you. It was sort of an exciting thing in that it was like, oh, like a youngish defender, with some MLS experience, and like he's only 26. He's played for the Whitecaps. He's played in a couple. He played for Colo-Colo. He's not new, but he's not inexperienced. He's got some stuff going on. Anyway, so is it bronchial stuff?
No. Well, yeah, they keep saying non-COVID illness, but on FOTMob on Saturday for the injured, because he's on the injured list, it says hip injury.
That's a little low and to the left or right.
They've never, that's what I find really interesting. Like no one from TF, like they've never said he has an injury. They keep saying he's ill. So I'm curious as to where that came from. Yeah. Anyway, so
this isn't long COVID. This is just low COVID. Like it should be higher.
Low COVID.
It's making his hips feel just not quite right.
Oh yeah, sluggish hips. Oh fuck.
Sluggish hips. You don't want sluggish hips.
Yeah,
no.
get you that hip fog. Oh
right.
My God.
Yeah.
But
you know where the swab goes, right?
God.
Anyway, continue.
It is, concerning to not have him playing because Toronto keeps seemingly injuring their defenders as well, right? Like you want to have some people at your disposal, and he's yet to play a single match for Toronto. He's a Canadian international as well. He filed a FIFA one-time switch in 2021. His brother plays for Winnipeg, by the way.
Yeah.
His twin brother, in fact.
Is he really his twin brother? Come on.
He's
Is it just the same player?
Teams,
is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
No,
he's
I
going
mean,
over there
like,
and playing for both teams.
they're not
That's
identical
why
twins.
he's so fucking tired. He's not has COVID. He's just tired because he's off playing for Winnipeg and flying back and forth, training with both teams.
Yeah,
playing
draws
for
a
both
mustache.
teams. Yeah.
Draws on a mustache.
I am the brother. Hello. Go mustache.
Anyway, so it's but it really is unfortunate. Like, he's a left back, so like, there's a very specific reason I feel like he was brought in, and yeah, so we'll see what happens there. Hopefully he recovers from whatever it is, and actually plays, but don't expect to see him anytime soon. The whole thing with Victor Vasquez is very much a giant question mark. Michael Bradley hasn't missed this many games since, when was the year Liam Fraser had to step in and play for him? That was pre-COVID, right?
Oof, yeah.
2018?
Yeah. Yeah, don't know.
Something like that? 2019?
Maybe.
Anyway, it's been a while. So yeah, that's a lot of... It's an interesting, weird little time. The thing with Victor Vasquez is probably like the most concerning in terms of, was this just a big waste of time / PR stunt kind of thing? And I say this with love for Victor Vasquez in my heart. I love this man as a player. I didn't enjoy him leaving for money, but I don't enjoy that when anybody does that, modern game or not. And I don't want people to be injured, but like, what is happening? Someone give us some, like, just.
I feel like this is in the same neighborhood as Dero coming back at the end. It's like, certain people on this podcast notwithstanding, I was one of those people that just hoped for. Yeah, it was you, Duncan.
Yeah, okay.
I was hoping for, like, will we get to see at least some sustained glimmer of brilliance? It doesn't have to be for a whole match.
Oh.
Give me 10 minutes.
Exactly. A little bit of vintage there.
Yeah, vintage triple V, vintage Victor Vasquez. I mean, that sounds dreamy.
Yeah.
But I don't think he can play long enough to get to that stage. And I feel like I know much like re-signing Dero for probably what they paid him, I absolutely would have signed him then, even knowing the outcome. Would I have signed Victor Vasquez knowing what the outcome looks like it's going to be? Yeah, I kind of would. Because if he just gets, again, like a 10-minute streak where he's just putting the ball on somebody's laces across the pitch, like he did to poor Marky Delgado the first time, and it freaked him out so bad he passed it back to Michael Bradley because he had no idea what the fuck to do. He's never played that far up the pitch in his life. I just seeing that, like, going, my God, this guy's a poet in football. This guy is an absolute artist. So I would sign him for the hope that I get to see that a few more times, like not consecutive, but just like he put one incredible ball on Akinola's foot and he just rifled it in the top corner. Yeah. Like, I would absolutely have signed it, but this looks like the Dero come home part 2. For better or worse.
Fine, that's just it. It was this or re-sign Seba. People are clamoring for us to re-sign this guy. Let's go with this one instead. Bring this guy over from 2017. You guys happy now? This'll do. This'll shut you up. Fine, good. Go away.
I love the idea that players get signed.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like, we got one more spot on the roster. Give me a name that will shut everybody the ever-loving fuck up for the next 3 weeks. Who's the Mediterranean guy with the squeaky voice from 2017? I think people seem to like him. Yeah, go and get him. They ended up with Vasquez.
Speaking of the squeaky voice Mediterranean lad, I don't watch a lot of the TFC All for Ones, but they recently did one on TFC players and their tattoos. And because half of the squad is heavily tatted, right? And he's one of them. And it was just very interesting. I sometimes forget about his voice until they interview him. And it's an interesting thing. If tattoos and just players' personalities are of interest to you, it is worth watching. Especially given how young some of them were when they got their first tattoos. I'm like, who are your parents? How did you manage this? Well, I think Insigne said he was like 13 when he got his first tattoo. I was like, pardon? 13?
What kind of decision could you make at 13 that you would regret later in life? None. Never.
None whatsoever. No.
As a 13-year-old that they would regret later on if it was permanently inked on them. Never.
Man, I didn't get my first tattoo until like my late 20s because I wanted to be really sure about it. And then I got just like a bunch of them. But
I didn't get my first tattoo until, was it about 2000 and in 2005? Never? Yeah, no, you remember the Russian pop duo? Fantastic album, better than it should have been. All the things she said, a great cover of How Soon Is Now, just amazing. Anyway, sorry, we're not talking about the same thing anymore.
Hey,
thanks, Duncan.
I got there eventually.
Thanks,
no,
Duncan.
I knew exactly what you were doing. I'm just like,
no, but I really
you didn't laugh, did you? You just sighed.
Yeah, she sighed. I really appreciated the delayed reaction, Duncan. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm here for you eventually.
Oh dear. Anyway.
Guess where the swab goes. Fuck.
We've got to shut up, Kristin. We've got to follow up on this, Mark. Front or back?
Oh no!
Where are you thinking?
Yes.
Moving on.
Yes, go ahead, Kristin.
Player to watch.
Oh, doesn't this team have a whole bunch of?
There should be if one player hasn't leapt out at you yet.
Like
there's a whole bunch of players that leap out.
Although they've barely played, so
Bye, obviously, yeah. There's
yeah.
Altidore, Gonzalez, E. Edwards Jr., who I'm choosing
Altidore,
to.
Of course.
I'm choosing to presume. Yeah, young Gil. Yeah.
Young Gil, that's true.
Yeah. Well, they got two Gils. They've got Charlie and Nacho.
No, it's my Gil. No, it's Nacho Gil. This is I feel like the last couple years,
when elections coming up, they've got a pollster.
Okay.
Oh, come on, that was a quality election joke.
That was fun. Yeah,
guys are mean.
I mean, I don't know if there's such a thing as a quality election
if
joke.
What if you made it? You.
Yeah, but I got good delivery. I feel like
laughing.
I feel like the last couple years that New England has delivered with a roster full of comedy names.
Yeah.
No.
Oh man, Kristin's way behind. Are you?
Oh yeah.
Kristin, say the number 3.
She can't. Yeah. Anyway, Tommy McNamara,
my God,
Josie Altidore, Omar Gonzalez, Ben Sweat,
baby.
Eddie Edwards' kid.
3.
Eddie the Eagles.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah.
Kristin, really?
Yes.
That was like 20 seconds. Anyway, okay. I have no idea where this edit goes. I have no idea where we started and ended. I have no idea. So if this all gets left in, it means I got lazy. I'm sorry, everyone.
Gee, boo.
So aside from the polling joke, this team does deliver in great names. It really does. So
yeah, agreed.
My God. I mean, yeah, it's Altidore if he can play more than. Do you think he'll get a 78th minute on the weekend? Because he's only got 77 now. 4 subs. Oh, poor guy.
4 substitute appearances.
Man.
Yeah. Omar Gonzalez is at a stunning 6 minutes for the season so far.
Sorry, I'm about to have a holy shit, he's still playing moment. I'm just
I know. I totally forgot that's where he was.
I'm just double checking that this is the same one. I mean, what's the likelihood, right? Hang on, career stats are loading. Holy shit, it's the same one. I didn't know he was still playing. That's amazing. Well, I know Altidore is the obvious one, but fuck it, Omar Gonzalez. I just want to see if he can play. This is amazing. Because
Omar's back, yo.
Yeah.
Omar's coming, yo. Whatever the thing is. Yeah.
That's good.
Is that Andrew Farrell?
Yeah, he's still going, I guess. It's nice.
Damn.
Wow.
Latif Blessing.
I know. What is this team?
Yeah, there's a lot of old school MLS people on this team. And 2 Gills. Cool.
A really good one, which is probably the one I'm going to pick as my actual player to watch. And I'm sorry for when he inevitably scores.
Nacho?
Yes.
Yeah, probably. I'll go with Gil as well. Why not? Not my Gil and not Joe Gil. Carlos Gil.
Carlos Gil, yes. Annoyingly good.
The top scorer's only scored 3 goals so far. How the fuck are these guys top of the league?
Because they spread the scoring around, apparently.
Socialism.
Yeah.
Socialism, yes. Yeah. Okay.
You get a goal, and you get a goal, and you. Sorry, Josie, not you. Sorry, not yet. Get back on line. And you get a goal, and you get a goal. Bye-bye. Come here. Goal. Take one. Have it. Good times.
Are we picking serious players to watch, teams, people to watch? Yeah, it's Charlie Gilbert. I'll go with Gustavo Boo.
Bam. Pow.
Boo.
Oh, yes.
I forgot all about this Giacomo Veroni.
Veroni.
Yeah, he's that's not bad.
It's a very dynamic sounding name.
So it's Veroni. I was like, oh
man.
Right.
I love how Kristin's internet has just given up.
I mean, mine just stopped. Hers is just fighting for its life.
It's trying. It's trying
so hard. And I'm surprised you didn't actually pick Veroni, because apparently he's got 6 caps with Albania. Like, that just seems to be right on brand.
Is he really?
What?
He's Albanian.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, making his senior team debut in October 2018. He represented Italy at the youth international level before switching allegiances to Albania. The right choice is
I missed that entirely.
That is a very honorable choice.
Yeah,
very honorable.
Indeed.
What a trajectory! My goodness. But anyway, yeah. So it's this. I mean, just looking at like where he's played. Like I know he came from Juve, but like Cittadella, Venezia, US Pistoiese. This looks like Metallica, but it's not. It's Metallica. Looks like Metallica though. First glance, I'm like, oh my god, that is fucking hard. But no, it's Metallica. I'm probably Metallica. I don't know what I'm pronouncing. But they're Serie D side. So like, but like that's again like 4th division, and now he's at the big time in New England. I'm changing it. I'm going with Albania's finest here.
Okay.
Good story. Support it.
Yeah. Worth it. It seems like Kristin's gone, so we should probably just wrap this up, shouldn't we? Really,
yeah.
Mike?
All right. What are your predictions, Dunk?
Yeah. 2-2.
Reasonable.
Oh, hey, Kristin's back.
Hey, Kristin. What's your prediction, Kristin?
Predictions.
What? This is
2-1 Toronto.
Hey. 2-0 Toronto if they're wearing their grays. And 2-all if they're wearing their half and halves. Because I have a vested interest in this outcome, depending on the shirt they wear. Because it's too funny to think that they still haven't lost a match wearing the shirt everybody secretly loves. Anyway. Please don't lose in those shirts. Just please don't. Get all draws. I don't care. Just don't lose. Too funny.
That would be awesome, actually.
Don't make me go through all the games looking for game photos just so I can determine what shirt they were wearing. Winningest kid of all time. Suck it. 2017 red kit. Like, good. That's probably the best. Anyway. So, Kristin,
right.
Your Wi-Fi good enough to do That's Our Show?
I don't think it is, Mark.
Pause. Okay. So, everybody, that's our show. Tune in next week where Tony may or may not be back. Kristin should be connected. And Duncan set his watch to him. He's reliable.
Hey, I'm consistent. I don't watch the games, but I'm here for the podcast. Ready to go.
Two types of consistency: showing up and expectation.
Yes.
You can find. I'm not sure where to go. Sorry, Duncan. You can find him on the internet at Duncan D. Fletcher. He's been Mr. Duncan Fletcher.
Hello, Mark. Hi, Kristin. Eventually, in 2 minutes when you respond.
Hi.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Oh shit! All right. All right, Kristin, throw it to me quick before the internet dies.
You can find him on the internet at Kitnerd Mark with a K, not a Q. It's Mark Hinkley.
Thank you for continuously listening and supporting our podcast via Patreon. We absolutely appreciate it. We got shirts. Tony, remember him? He was on last episode. He did a bunch of shirts. They're on our Zazzle shop. You can find the link on our website. And man, I'm going to hopefully sleep more than 5 hours tonight. Dreams do come true, people. Dreams do come true.
As for me, you can find me on the internet. Yes, the entire internet at KZ Knowles. I have been your host, Kristin Knowles. Please join us next week when we will preview the Voyageurs Cup, talk about the CSCA elections, and more. And until next week, Canada, get used to it.
Oh, yeah.
Nailed it.
Although, speaking of Vasquez.
Wait, Kristin, stop,
which obviously we are, but
stop, Kristin.
Small digression, just because it's in it. I don't watch a lot of the TFC.
I gotta remember.
See all for one things. Stopping. How bad was it?
Oh my God! I kept going. This is an outtake. You'll hear the entire 30 seconds of me trying to stop you and Duncan trying to stop you. Fuck, what was the segue?
Oh God, really? I only heard like 5 seconds of it.
I know, but you'll hear the playback's going to be glorious. But what the fuck was the start of it? I was so concerned trying to remember it, and I forgot.
Speaking of something,
speaking of somebody.
Find out what. Yeah. Speaking of Victor Vasquez or the two terrorists.
All right, go.
I figured I better try and get it all in there really fast.
It's funny when you started doing the throw to like, next week we should be covering. Like, no. But you don't have time for this. This is not going to work. Kristin, was the three thing, the three gag, was that legit? Like, did you say three when you heard it? Or did you just stretch it out?
What did you say, Chris? Three.
Oh my God.
I said three. No. You said Kristin. Say three. I said three. Like immediately.
That's amazing. That was
you really heard 30. Like 20 later.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And also, this explanation mostly got eaten up by Wi-Fi again.
Amazing.
But we heard enough to get what we needed out of it. So.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
Something about immediately and 20 seconds later. So I figure I feel like I pulled it together as to what you were trying to say.
Yeah. No. This is low key one of the more insane shows we've done, both technologically. Just my sense of humor is just whacked. I don't know if this is sustainable, guys.